I won't believe what? What's going on? What won't I believe? He said her turn my switch into a switch too. Would you break it in half or something? How'd you do that? Or did you get a new switch? Oh, it has a switch to theme. That's pretty cool. That's dope. That's really dope. I was looking at the Sony handheld, the I think PlayStation Portal. Like, I kind of maybe want one, but like, it just looks so big. Looks huge. The unreleased Switch 2 OLED. That's dope, man. Isn't Switch 2 already out right now? I don't know anything about Switches. I really don't. I've never been a big Nintendo fan. He said we don't talk about the PlayStation Portal. Yeah. I think they just recently, because at first you weren't even able to like play games like from like I don't know. There was like some controversy with it at first, and they recently fixed the controversy, so now you can kind of play games that you brought on your PS5, like in your library. You could just play them like when you're out somewhere on your PlayStation Portal now. They said you need Wi-Fi. Yeah, I think it was something like that. There was something like that. I think now you can do it natively on the thing, but you just still need a PlayStation Network subscription or something. I don't know. Exactly. There was something about it that pretty much made it not portable at all, despite it being branded as a portable device. Exactly. Yeah. But just from the like videos I saw of it, it just looked really clunky and big to me. It looked huge. Like, I don't understand why they can't just, you know, like we don't necessarily need a portable gaming system that doubles as like a second screen. Like if we're gonna get a portable gaming system, obviously, naturally, we're gonna expect the screen to only be so big. It doesn't need to be like a second monitor. Like it doesn't need to be that. Like the PSP was pretty much, But then again, we're in a different era now because the PSP wasn't playing PlayStation 3 games portably, like from your PlayStation library necessarily. It was just playing PlayStation, like PSP games. Yeah, I heard about it. I heard about it. I'm not necessarily too mad about it. As long as the game still comes out, the longer it stays in development, the better it'll overall be. Except at least the PSP is a portable. Yeah, the PSP definitely is a portable gaming device for sure. Like, that's for sure. I think the difference is just that we're in an era now again where like people are trying to like play all the games that they own in their PlayStation 5 library portably on a device. Like PSP didn't do that. Like it played games portably, but it was like PSP games, you know what I mean? But I understand what you're saying. Um, and yeah, the delay on Grand Theft Auto isn't really that big of a deal to me. Like I know that some people have said like, yo, I took off work for that week, you know, but it's not a big deal to me personally. Like, in fact, my birthday's November 9th. It just passed, so it'll be 10 days after my birthday now. So this kind of works out a little bit better for me, even though not really, because it's like I don't get presents for birthday anymore, so it's not like anyone's gonna necessarily buy me Grand Theft Auto for my birthday or give me money to necessarily buy it, but it's still nice that it comes out around that time. You know, I'm definitely excited for it. I was actually just trying to get the new Black Ops to play it today because I was trying to do the Switzerland thing to play it today, only because I wanted to stream it since it's new. I figure I, can get a good amount of viewers and maybe get some new people aboard on the channel. And I couldn't get it. Like, first of all, I realized it's like $69. I was like, holy shit, I don't know if I want to actually pay $69 for this game. I might just wait for Black Friday. I thought it was only gonna be like 50 bucks. By the way, I thought we gonna get the promised flying car 25, but instead we have game on PS Store, on the eShop. I mean, I'm not necessarily complaining, but I think we do have some form of like flying vehicles. We definitely have like obviously autonomous vehicles, but we also have, I think, like vehicles that like can do land and sea, like cars that can turn into boats. But I'm pretty sure we have some like hovercraft type vehicles at this point. Pretty sure. Hey, what's up? How you doing, Cheesecake? Oh, I just read your comment. That's crazy. Thank you. I appreciate you. I actually sucked my teeth because I said Cheesecake's name. I hate saying like people's names when they ask me to say like hi, because like I feel like people are just gonna like clip it and then like make a huge reel of like YouTube streamers saying hi to them and shit. I also feel like YouTube, like it's not a big deal, but I feel like there's definitely a community of YouTubers who like go on live streams and they're just like hi, 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 and then they leave. Also, Wild Autumn, you saying I look transgender only means you think I'm hot. That's all that you just said to me. Either you think I'm a boy who looks like a girl, or you think I'm a girl who looks like a boy. Either way, though, you think I'm hot. Either way, at some point or another, you think I'm a girl. Word. Well, obviously. But yeah, I was gonna stream the new Call of Duty, but I'm definitely not gonna. I'm definitely not going to now. But I still want to. I was actually looking at YouTube's like top games like live, and I mean, granted though, like I don't think this list is too accurate because they're saying they have like. Well, no, actually, I figured out the reason why it's doing that. But I'm looking at their like top live games. You'd be surprised at what they are. A lot of people are playing that like Arc Raiders game. I wanted to try that, but that's new gen only. New gen only. Fuck. Let me see. Let me read off the top live games on YouTube again. Like the top three live games on YouTube right now are Arc Raiders, Roblox, and PUBG India. Yeah, there's such a huge India demographic on YouTube. Like it's crazy. Like I think it's because a large part of like India's like cinema and like Bollywood scene is like spread through YouTube. I think a big portion of like the infamy behind like Bollywood happened through YouTube, and that's why YouTube has such a huge Indian demographic. But I've noticed that, and it's not like an issue, but it's definitely like apparent. Like a big portion of their users, like YouTube India is a thing. Sorry that my shoe's trying to move by itself. I am. And then the next biggest game is Minecraft, Black Ops 7, and Grand Theft Auto 5. And the only games on that list that I have is Grand Theft Auto 5. But then again, then like people are like watching role players and stuff. And I'm ass at Grand Theft Auto 5. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I'm good at like playing the game, but the combat and like PvP, I'm so bad in Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm just so bad. I used to be okay in Grand Theft Auto 4. But Grand Theft Auto 5, like the PvP in that, I'm terrible. Only games I own in the top 10 on YouTube. Let me see. Damn, actually, again, only Black Ops, or excuse me, only Grand Theft Auto 5. In the top 10, only games I own in Grand Theft Auto 5. I might try PUBG. I might try to get into PUBG because like that's like a really big game on YouTube and all over the world. He said trying to pirate Nintendo Switch Sports. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, that's what's up, man. I don't think pirating Nintendo games is the best. I don't fucking know, but I pirated or at least tried to pirate. I tried to pirate a few games in the past. My issue with like pirating video games is like when I do it on like my computer, it always just boils down to me never having like the computer specs to really run the game that well. I think I played Left 4 Dead on the computer, pirated once. Evil Within 2, I tried that once, pirated, but I didn't get very far with that. I couldn't run it. I don't know if it was just the files that I got were corrupted or if I just couldn't run it, but I couldn't run it. Um, and that's about it. But yeah, I never really had too much luck pirating video games. He said, hey, pirating isn't stealing nowadays. Yeah, man, I understand. I don't necessarily see an issue, not see an issue, but I'm not necessarily against pirating at this moment in age necessarily. I think we're at a point right now where um, capitalism is very anti-consumerism and it's seeping into a lot of different industries. So if there's any moment in history where people start to pirate again, or where pirating could be seen as a way to kind of like take back, you know, respect as a consumer, then by all means, you know, especially with the way that games are being distributed now and how you're getting just a license to play the game as opposed to like physically owning the game like you may have done in the past. Um, you know, we're just in the age of streaming, and the age of streaming means you pay more for essentially less, or at least to you pay more to access more, but to own less is essentially what we're in right now. Is that still waiting for Nintendo's government to arrest me? Yeah, man, don't think that they won't, because they definitely will if you ever like pop up on their radar seriously, like in a serious way. You know what I mean? Like, like even just now, like me saying like, I attempted to pirate this or pirate that in the past. Like, that's not necessarily, if it ever came up, like there's nothing stopping them from using that to, you know, to work against me. Been pirating as a child, yeah, totally. I hear that. I'm definitely more of like a software pirater. Like I never even really had that much of a desire to pirate video games. Like, but I definitely have pirated like softwares to like learn new skills and better myself as an artist and whatnot. Like I used to say back in the day that there wasn't a program that I couldn't get, and I was honestly like pretty fucking good at getting programs for a while, but I haven't pirated something in forever. I just, usually I have the money, hopefully, to buy it. And a lot of like things that I used to pirate, like let's say Photoshop, maybe for example, um, that you can just get through like a subscription service now. Which also kind of sucks because you can't just buy it outright. Which again is like now you can't own it, you just own access to it. Whereas you in the past used to be able to just buy and own Photoshop forever. Gonna go live on Twitch. That's fire. I was just looking at Twitch and seeing what their top games were and whatnot. Trying to figure out, what's something I could play to, get some viewers into the stream. Oh, my neck hurts. But yeah. I don't know, maybe I'll play DayZ, but DayZ's so fucking boring sometimes. Like, fuck. Like, it's just so boring. Just walking around, and then, God forbid, I do run into somebody else and they're not friendly, and then boom, I'm dead and everything fucking worked for is gone. It's either boring or annoying. But then again, it's not like, it's just there's people who play DayZ and like they know how to play DayZ. I need to fucking figure something out though. I'm playing God of War Ragnarok. I started playing last night. I've been playing God of War Ragnarok and Cyberpunk 2077. That's what I've been playing. Hold on 1 second. I gotta get a snack. What's good, bro?
How is it going, Austin, Texas? Oh my gosh! And right off the bat, sir, I'm very curious. What's your heritage? Are you Pacific Islander? But Austin, it will be so nice to be here tonight. No, sir, you didn't tell me. What's your heritage, sir? Huh? Hello, my name is William Montgomery, and I'm thinking about adopting Ja Rule. Okay, that's my best joke, so So I obviously got the recessive gene, but the interesting thing is both of my parents are black. God, are you gonna live in any of that shit? Right next to the fucking Pacific Islander guy! Dude, why aren't you telling me? A white woman is suing a fertility clinic because she gave birth to a black baby, and weirdly enough, the exact opposite thing happened to Emma. I swear to God, she goes, oh, hell no! I love how Russia is like, hey, we used to own Ukraine. Okay, well, I used to own beanie babies, but I'm not going back to my parents' house in Memphis to dig them up out of the backyard. Dude, your ass bitch! And sir, are you with this lady right here? Y'all two are together. How much would I have to pay you to do that to my roommate for this? And the Pacific Islander guy and the bitch now laughing are gonna be having sex in my bathtub. What do I have to pay you to?
It's so hard to freaking use my computer with this phone, like, directly in front of my face.
Especially after they found out that this festival was being headlined by O.G.D, the comedian who's most commonly known for using the auto-tune filter on his microphone that makes everything you say sound like a song, which is equally as hack.
Never heard of this dude.
So massively viral that his audience represents just the average Joe Schmo, who aren't even typical fans of comedy. So this is actually a more accurate representation of what people think of Philly comedy. So when Philly fans say stuff like, if you're not regular and friendly, then you won't laugh at any of his jokes, it really just seems like they've been brainwashed into joining the comedy mothership cult. I mean, how does a comedian set up to grow an audience if they're not funny to people who've never heard of them before? Thank you, that's probably my best joke. It was smoking, man! What are you smoking, man? Who are you, like your sister? The Filipino girl, how much would I have to pay you for the two sisters to be fucking each other in my bathtub? How much would I have to pay their ass for that? They're sisters! And of course, all comedy is subjective, and many times during his set, William Montgomery did attempt to make jokes, but without laughing during his set.
He said, by the way, if you want, I can give you the link to my Twitch. What do you play on Twitch?
I started a bottled water company. The bad news, the water comes from Camp Lejeune. That's for the military people in the crowd. Hunter Biden impregnated Afghani refugee. Jihad El Big Bud. Joe Biden said, well, they're going to put his face on the buffalo nickel. So Biden just got diagnosed with prostate cancer. It's pretty crazy because I heard that he got it at one of P.D.'s free calls. Okay, bitch, that's funny because you can't catch cancer like that. Okay, let's keep moving. Remember when they stormed Osama bin Laden's safe house and claimed they found... I'm starting to think it was just hanging up. Okay, let's keep moving after that. I feel like Pepsi goes out with a new flavor every month. Maybe they should just come out with one called Coke. Okay, got some laughter. Gotcha. Man, I'm curious right here. Are you Pacific Islander? What's your heritage? Filipino? So I'm right, bitch! Okay, let's keep moving. So I'm actually writing a children's book about a white upper-class male athlete who gets teased by the other third graders.
Why am I eating all my son's goldfish is a real question. Because I brought him as the answer.
It's a story of a Muslim man who falls in love with a dog sled racing woman from Alaska, but their relationship is put to the test when Ramadan falls during the Iditarod. Over the years, Kilkenny has slowly
Where's the remote?
show their character.
Word. I mean, I never really thought that one comedian from Kill Tony was that funny, the dude with the red hair. I never thought he was that funny. I thought like that was kind of his bit. Like I thought like his whole thing was like really bad, not obnoxious, but semi-obnoxious, bad comedy was kind of his thing. Like as like this like deranged madman kind of. That's like that's always what I got from him. But Kill Tony, as Kill Tony always does, you know he pretends like the people that he's ushered into comedy are like these next big great things, and I don't know if they all are. And that one guy in particular, I don't know, I don't remember his name, but the ginger dude, like I particular have a great stream, bro. Did ask you what game did you stream? I don't know if you answered me, but I said what games do you stream? But yeah, that ginger dude, I never thought his comedy was that great personally. Like I always thought he was kind of like unfunny, personally. But everybody's into different things, so maybe I just don't understand his comedy. But this video that I was watching was him bombing somewhere in Austin, which is surprising because Austin is like that whole sphere's home turf. So yeah, you're gonna play COD Zombies. That's cool. I've been playing zombies so much, but yeah, enjoy. I'll be right back.
In the hopes of winning unimaginable paper cash, a politician put it into existence, and one wish. Shut up, Rich. Breaking from the almighty deep state. How far could you walk? Let's break down how deep the American Stasi is. The Long Walk. 19 years after America's second Civil War economically devastated the nation, the green shirts are hosting their country.
I can't hear anything. I don't know the sound. What happened to the sound? Audio now. Well, so I can hear. Wait, maybe it was coming out of the TV. That doesn't explain why I can't hear anything. Yeah, YouTube is just bugging out, I guess.
So there's portals here. This is your guide to activating the Pack-a-Punch machine on Ashes of the Damned. To start with, when you spawn into a match, you need to first of all need to points, and once you've got enough points, you'll be able to open this door in the store area, where inside you'll see a rather bottom drawer, and you need to break that by levitating it, and you'll find Ted's head underneath. Pick it up by holding your interact key, and then bring Ted's head to the outside of the building, and attach Ted's head to old Tessie, which is the kind of Ford 150 truck that's hanging out there waiting for you. You'll hold that down in order to touch Ted's head, and once it's done, you'll be able to get inside old Tessie, and you can then start driving it around. Now, Tessie is something that has limited amounts of health, so if it's getting bashed up by zombies, it will go on a cooldown, it will need to heal, so just keep that in mind, but you should be fine to start the game here, it shouldn't really be a problem. You're going to use old Tessie to break through one of the sets of wooden doors in the store area. The options are you're either going to go towards Vanderbilt Farms, or you're going to go towards Blackwater Lake. It actually doesn't matter which of the two you choose here, so just pick one you prefer. And while you are driving there, you're going to see red spores on the ground, and you need to avoid those because they work like landmines that will damage Tessie even further. The good news is while you're driving, there are also green spores on the ground, and if you drive directly over the top of those will heal Tessie and make it so that you are much more likely to survive the trip. Now, I also really recommend you do not get out of the vehicle in those in-between areas between POIs, because the zombies out there are super sprinters, they will chase you down very quickly, and it's going to be a bad time. So, only get out of the vehicle once you've gotten to your destination, either Vanderbilt Farm or Blackwater Lake. When you get there, you'll see a big machine which kind of looks like one of the power generators for origins, and on the machine you'll see some fungus. You need to shoot off that fungus, the little blobby stuff, and there'll be quite a lot of it all around the machine, so go around the whole thing, shooting all of it off, and once you've got all of it from the sides, it will spawn a big blob of fungus on the top of the machine, and you then need to take that out as well, and do all of it within the 30-second timer, and when successful, it will send out a pulse from zombies in the area around you, and the power switch will then be activatable in that area. If you're on Vanderbilt Farm, you'll find the power switch upstairs of the bar, which you'll need to buy, and in Blackwater Lake, you want to open the doors to the cabin, and then go upstairs, and that's where you'll find the power switch. Now, if you fail while doing the goofy stuff, don't worry. You just need to go to the next round, and then you'll be able to reactivate the machine by starting to shoot the fungus once again, and that will start your 30-second timer. And so, I recommend if you have failed this, it's probably best to pick up a assault rifle or an energy or something off the wall, or perhaps by spinning the box, in order to make life a bit easier rather than using a zombie nest to try and test those. So let's say you've turned on your power. You are then going to drive in Tessie once again towards Ashwood. Now, Ashwood is the center area of the entire Ashes map, so if you've been already driving, for example, to the left of spawn to get to Vanderbilt Farm, then you're going to keep going on from Vanderbilt rather than spinning back towards the spawn area, and that will take you to Ashwood. So once you get there,
This new zombie map is a lot like Transit.
and then you'll want to open this door, but you're not going to buy this just yet. Don't worry. You just walk into this building and then down the stairs here. You can open this door, walk around the building, and open the next door that will lead you to this bridge. This will have the same machine as what we saw in the farm area or Black Lake. Stores all over it, so repeat the same process by destroying all of the fungus, and then once that's done and you've got the successful pulse completion, you'll be able to go over to the power switch in the area, just overlooking the bridge, and hold square on that to activate it. Then go down to where you left Tessie below you. Be very careful not to just jump arbitrarily off the side of the bridge, because there are areas where you'll take too much fall damage and you will die. So be careful to make sure you're sliding onto a nearby structure below you, or you're taking by yourself down. And then once you've made it down there successfully, the garage door will open, and you can hop back inside Tessie, drive Tessie into the garage. This will actually start repairing Tessie, because Tessie also repairs when in the garage. And you'll also get a prompt to get out of Tessie and go to this little craft door table just to the side of it. This is something you're going to then grab and to go back to Tessie, and this will mean that the Pack-a-Punch is, from this point forward in your game, permanently attached to Tessie's back. So that is the overall process that you're going to go through. Some tips to perhaps make this slightly easier for you in the game is to ensure that in the first couple of rounds, round 1 and round 2, you are using your dedicated melee weapon and getting crits with it for your final blows, because that's going to give you a lot of points. Also make sure that you're remembering to do things like laying down.
So the Pack-a-Punch, is this the only way to access the Pack-a-Punch?
Buy all the doors that you need in order to do this. The earlier you'll be able to actually get to Pack-a-Punch, and then it's likely that you'll be overwhelmed by those extra zombies while trying to do it. Another tip is if you're in co-op, Tessie can fit 4 of you inside her at once, so you can be driving around in those in-between areas and getting attacked by ravagers, and you can have your teammates shoot out to try and clear the area a little bit and prevent Tessie from being overrun too much by all of those ravagers. So keep that in mind. If you're not the driver, you still do have a job to do when you're in Tessie. So let's assume that you've got Tessie opened up now and the path is ready and you are considering Pack-a-Punching your gun. You might actually want to reconsider, just initially here, because in Black Ops 7 Zombies, the way the rounding system works is slightly different to Gear 6, and in this game, it's actually a decent idea to do things like spin blocks or buy high rarity war weapons. So you won't necessarily always want to automatically just Pack-a-Punch the first time you spawn in, but instead, you might want to say, okay, I've got my Pack-a-Punch opened up, right, and Tessie is ready for me, but I might want to try and spin blocks, even to just get like a blue weapon or something initially, to save yourself having to go from gray to green and then green to blue rarity to get salvage on that, and you might then want to start Pack-a-Punching there. Also, another thing that you can absolutely consider
This new zombies map doesn't look that fun to me. It looks kind of like a little bit of too much going on, but that's just me. Hey, what's up? Hey, what? What's up? You pooped your pants? I know you went to goldfish. Yeah, you pooped your pants. Both. It's been 30 minutes. Yeah, you're hurting me. Where are you trying to go? Why are you trying to take the goldfish? Gotta be sick. You stink, my boy. You stink, me boy. Me boy, you stink. Me, oh, you turned on my game.
I feel disgusted by it. It is disgusting. So, a few weeks ago, I was contacted by a group of game developers in Edinburgh. They wanted to talk to me about the union, just started the fall,
Why are you pushing?
It's time to push towards the release.
How you gonna push me back like I can't move? Dang. That's rude.
They recruited just over 10% of the Rockstar workforce here in the UK, which is a crucial milestone to hit, because that happens to be one of the criteria you need in this country in order to apply for what's called statutory recognition. That means even if the company doesn't want to voluntarily recognise your union, it doesn't matter. The government can force it to do so. Now, there's other criteria you need to hit as well, but that 10% membership, that's a biggie. So things are sounding hopeful, right? The union was actually just getting ready to announce its existence a bit more publicly. In fact, we're going to bring that news on people in the game. So we're going to come up here, interview some of its members, talk to them about what they're up to, about what they're planning to do next, and that was all going to happen a little bit later on this very month. And then, out of the blue, I received this email from one of its organisers. Hey Chris, as of yesterday, roughly 14 employees, specifically all members of the union, including the majority of the organising committee, have all been let go from Rockstar, without warning, without proper due course, or any reasonable process. These firings were picked up by Bloomberg that same day, with Rockstar's parent company Take-Two claiming the employees had been fired for gross misconduct and for no other reason. Whereas the president of the Independent Workers' Union of Great Britain, which the Rockstar union members were all a part of, offered a very different perspective. Rockstar has just carried out one of the most blatant and ruthless acts of union busting in the history of the games industry. So what the fuck just happened? What gross misconduct could have possibly justified the immediate firing of dozens of workers in this way, with zero warning being offered beforehand? I went to Edinburgh to meet those fired workers today, and well, to try and find out. It's currently Thursday afternoon, just coming up to lunchtime, and around this corner across the road is the offices of Rockstar North, where you can see demonstrations just starting to take place in which the fired union members have come together to rally support to speak to their co-workers who remain at the studio. Talk to me what's going on here. Why are you here today?
So every day since we were fired last week, myself and my colleagues who were fired and many members members from the company have been out at lunchtime here, sort of having conversations, trying to tell our side of the story and make people aware of what's going on. And today is like the big day for that, where we're trying to sort of show that there's broad support from my side as well as from within the company. And yeah, it's our sort of big day to like make them think about what they've done to us.
The agenda happening right now is say sorry, be nice. What's that reference to?
Say sorry, be nice is a sort of rockstar slogan, has been for many, many years. But you can see, at least in this instance, the company is interested in living by it.
My brother is like that building right there. And the one over there. But they are scared. They're scared to shout and they're scared to speak up. And I don't blame them for it. But I'm not. And please know you hear all right.
From your perspective, this is because you're a union organizer.
Well, it's hard to deny the connection that all of us in the UK who were fired were union members. I think I've been vocal about my stance as well.
So why were they fired? What was the gross misconduct?
I don't think anything like this should ever happen because of the strong union protections in the UK. But I suppose I'm not
I don't mean to scare you, buddy. I'm
You
sorry.
went a million miles away from statutory recognition when it happened, right? You hit 10% membership. The kind of end goal is inside these when this took place.
Yeah, we were very close. And I don't know if you know, but there's some new laws coming in 2026, the Workers' Rights Bill, which will change how the process is done, and this will make things even easier. Like, people are hard right now, but it will change the process. So, in my personal opinion, if this was going to happen from management side, now is a good time for next year.
And can you give me an idea of your own personal circumstances in this? What does being fired in this way mean for you as an individual?
If I have gross misconduct on my CV and my resume for the rest of my life, that is a huge detriment to any future career prospects. Something important to notice as well is you feel shamed to be kicked out of work this way. Like, all of us still want to be here, we want our jobs, we want to finish what we were working on, and now the internal shame with you forever. It's hard to explain.
Fanny, could you talk to me about the swear here? Because I don't give context to our audience. There is a lot of very angry fans, and I think that's what's going on. So, what was the swearing?
Yeah, the scene that you're watching, it has became like sprouting up cats, if you will. They kind of like the union, like it's sprouted by itself.
In your speech, you talked about how this wasn't just a normal job for you. It's completely devoted, like both of you were devoted, like it's a pretty significant amount of time to. Can you just give me a bit more sense of what that means, what it feels like to be fired from a company you both basically spent a decade at, and get to then end in this way?
It's safe to say, I think we've all gone through all the stages of grief. I think the thing I felt,
I think it's more common.
that's true, yeah. So far, immediately in the meeting, it was just this profound sense of loss. Not only his career, but also the idea that we thought we could build the best workplace, work directly with our workers, but also work directly with management doing that. And at every opportunity, I think we were trying to adhere to policy, trying to do things in a way that doesn't ruffle feathers, that does things that, as far as we're concerned, align with company values. And then for this to happen, it raises a lot of questions about where our values are.
Obviously, to be fired immediately with gross misconduct as the reasoning, with no process attached to that, the threshold for that to happen in this country remains reasonably high. How confident are you guys in fighting this?
I know
What's the matter?
by the IWG legal team that Mike and Aaron were all in a Zoom call discussing what happened and before they were already agreed together like what's going to happen.
We were just vibing.
So it became clear
You alright?
it feels like at very least procedures that should have legally been followed were not.
Why are you crying? What's the matter, buddy? No, one, no, one, one, and what's this one for later? Only one. In the room. Go in the room. Come on, let's go. You took two now, and a third you was gonna just sit there for later, huh? Yep. Let me see it. Why are you crying? All right, enjoy. Excuse me.
My worry there is that Rockstar can still win even if the courts make them pay or if they offer, generous settlement amounts. That is still a price they're willing to pay to comedian. If that is true, if that's what you're up against, how does British HE movement succeed right when you're up against that kind of financial head?
This is what I was going to say is I think in a fight for life, the thing that really, I don't know, I guess when I go to the thing that I always think about is don't account for the press. Don't account for bad press to get, don't account for delays to the game, that will result from having fired 31 century workers. Don't account for the money they might have to pay to sign court when they decide it's worth it. What they will never have account for, something that I have never seen many account for, is the bonds that people feel in their willingness to stand up for each other and fight. The strength that's in a collective of people willing to put themselves at risk, willing to put their voices in the mix and stand behind them. And they don't account for that because they don't understand it. They've never seen it. They've never seen it in the games industry, they've never seen it in their boardrooms, never allowed to find out what that means. And I think that's something that they can't account for because they can't.
Some of the power that you're allowing here is not just the people standing outside there, but the workers that are still inside Rockstar that are equally curious about how their colleagues will be treated.
100%. And the union's grown.
Years after launch, I found a never-before-seen Call of Duty map in the ancient game files. A level that was supposed to replace another map in its entirety, but there's more to it than that. As a kid, I always wondered what Easter eggs or bonus areas were hiding beyond the barrier of the map. Was it a teddy bear or maybe a naked lady? I was 13, give me a break. And when I played the mission Karma from the Black Ops 2 campaign, that interest grew, as Karma and the multiplayer map Plaza are both set in the same city of Colossus. So if I somehow got down there during the campaign mission, could I find Plaza? Would it actually exist? How would I...
Walk a Chinese city after midnight, it looks like somebody just moved their entire streaming studio upwards. Everywhere you look, ring lights, foldable chairs, tripods, girls in dresses doing karaoke next to a trash can. It's like if The Voice in China went bankrupt but just decided to keep going on anyways. Now here's the thing, they're not exactly homeless, but they definitely do look like it. So who are they? And why are entire streets just turning into live stream farms? I don't know. It kind of looks like a mix of those Chinese food markets, but mixed with a reality TV show. So here's the deal, in places in China, there's this new phenomenon that people are calling the underbridge live stream zones. Basically, when the city goes to sleep, the influencers come out. By 9 p.m., the bridge underpass starts lighting up like Mondays. Hundreds of people setting up power banks, stools, and ring lights. It's a fine line in between begging and performing, and they call it stall-style streaming. It's like setting up a little shop, but instead of selling fried squid or, some clothing or socks, you're selling your personality. Plus how much you can embarrass yourself in public. And well, business is booming. Because in China, where the live stream economy is like worth over 700 billion yuan, even an underpass under a bridge can become novel. Like just imagine, your 9 to 5 ends, you clock out, and then another person clocks in, just, right under the bridge you just drove by. Now you must be thinking, why outside? Why not just stream from your room like a normal influencer? Firstly, well, they say outdoor streams look there's no fancy setup, there's no rented studio, it's legit just real life. And second, the streets come alive. Most people like us do scroll between 11 p.m. to 2 a.m., which is the absolute perfect time to catch those night owls and lonely ones. And of course, there's a cost when it comes to live streaming. Like when you're under the bridge, there's no rent, there's no light bill, there's even light outside. Bring your ring light, portable charger, foldable chair, and maybe some mosquito spray. Because once those mosquitoes show up, I'm cooked. Nothing humbles an influencer faster than just losing to nature itself. Natural selection. Damn, no about potential. Whoa. Going back there. I mean, yeah, like, why pay 3,000 yuan for, like, a studio when the city already built one for free? Now, let's talk about the hottest spot, the Guilin Nanzhou Bridge. Every single night, this bridge essentially just turns into a low-form budget of building hammers. Hundreds of creators sitting side by side, screaming into their phones. They have setups that look like mini games. Got LED lights, sound cards, foldable sofas. It's like packing for a camping trip at this point. Somebody even bought a thermal center software, and then they've kind of formed their own little strange ecosystem. Because there are veteran streamers mentoring the newbies. There are even talent scouts walking around to look for potential. And of course, your girl auntie snack menus who realize that they can just start selling their instant noodles next to these exhausted streamers. One top female streamer bragged that she made 100,000 yuan a month. That's around $14,000. But next to her, another girl said she only made 30 yuan after 6 hours. That's $4. Basically, this is just a bridge version of capitalism. It's like if you took a streamer factory and just mass produced them on the sidewalk. Not gonna lie, this is kind of just like at this point. And it's funny that they all have the same kind of ring light too. So So you know, some of these are just under a single agency. Now here's where it gets wild. These homeless live streamers aren't just selling beauty or talent. They're essentially just selling their pity. Like, think about it. A girl dressed like she's going to a fashion show, sitting under a bridge, singing to her phone while cars and trucks pass by. People watch and then they think, oh my gosh, she's so hot. Where can we send her some form of abuse? It's the pity aesthetic. Look just pitiful enough to earn some sympathy, but not to the extent where it starts getting too depressing. See, it's like a fine balance between I'm struggling, but make it cute. And clearly it works. Because on platforms like Douyin, Whiteshow, Bilibili, the main income comes from gifts. So like digital coins, flowers, cars, yachts, all paid for by emotionally invested strangers. Except the catch is just absolutely brutal. Because let's say you earn 100 yuan in gifts. The platform will take 50%. Your agency will take 20%. You keep maybe around 30%. So congrats, you just streamed like 6 hours outside under a bridge just for some bubble tea. But you know why people still keep going? Because one viral night.
Guillermo del Toro spent 30.
God of War 2018 is Give Me God of War, and it is the easiest hard mode in the series. If you don't believe me, check this out. Dude, I think I was a boss. Here's a list of all the main quests in the game, and right here is where you can become completely overpowered. Today I'm going to show you how to do it. Give Me God of War makes just about everything hard. But there are two changes. And sometimes they fucking explode. This explosion increases their level again and makes them much harder to stand. Which completely turns top fight into a virtually unwinnable scenario.
Okay, keep going.
Most dramatic at the very beginning of the game, because Kratos kinda sucks. Both the troll and Boulder have more health and more damage, but like all other abilities remain the same as any of them. So if you play the game before, all these are reasonably straightforward. Here's where things get spooky. You're about 20 minutes away from one of the hardest fights in the game. You know you're in for a bad time when the camera focuses on Atreus doing something stupid. This fight, below the bridge, is Give Me God of War difficulty right here. If you can beat this fight, you can make it to the end of the game easily. After beating Brock and upgrading the axe for the first time, we're ready to become overpowered. Well, if we skip past the maze and meeting Freya and getting yelled at by our snake overlord,
I'm going over dozens.
There's almost 20,000 SD files that got released. A complicated picture involving a lot of powerful people, but let me just say right up front, this is an ongoing story. There's a lot that's going to be released in the coming days, so just understand we're going to do our best to explain what has been happening, because this story has been full of twists and turns. It starts with the Democrats releasing 3 emails from the Jeffrey Epstein estate. One says that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. A victim spent hours at my house with him. Another says the victim, Mar-a-Lago, Trump says he asked me to resign. Jeffrey Epstein. Of course, he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine Maxwell to stop. And then the third email is from Michael Wolff talking about Jeffrey Epstein's association with Trump, saying you can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it looks like he really can win, you could save him generating a debt. Basically implying the idea that Epstein would have some kind of compromising information on Trump. But that was just the start of it, because then after that, the GOP came out swinging. They said, Democrats lying about releasing the but they legit when they have them to generate clickbait, you deserve the full truth. And then they released over 20,000 files. Some of it had to do with Trump, some of it didn't. Importantly, 2 of the emails that were in there were some of the ones that the Democrats released, except they were unredacted in the GOP copy. And these lack of redactions are obviously very intentional. So we see first, I want you to realize the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. And then it says, Virginia spent hours at my house with him. Now that name is really important because it's Virginia Giuffre. She was the Prince Andrew accuser, but importantly, she did not accuse Trump, rather saying that he couldn't have been friendlier. This obviously is one of the main reasons the GOP appears to have released this, because in part, they're implying that, hey, if you release this redacted, people are going to speculate who this victim was, thinking that there was something that happened, but actually, the person that's in there didn't accuse Trump of something illegal. And so this is sort of the intention here with Democrats saying, well, you're unredacting the victim's name, so that's been the battle there. Specifically, the second email, by the way, just further confirms it. It says blank worked at Mar-a-Lago. She was one of the ones that accused Prince Andrew. In the Democrat copy, all of that was redacted because, of course, it gives away the fact that we are talking about, once again, Virginia Giuffre. Also, in these emails released by the Republicans, it says blank worked at Mar-a-Lago. Trump knew it, came to my house many times. He never got the massage. That's straight from Jeffrey Epstein clearing him of a massage. Obviously, is the one person who most don't want to get a massage. So honestly, that is good for him, which is obviously why they released it. Begging the question why they didn't release it sooner. Maybe it's because they didn't want people to know that Trump knew about the girls. Now, one thing I want to talk about is the fact that Epstein is saying, hey, look, Trump publicly said that it was me that he has to stop, but actually it was Ghislaine that he has to stop. And my question here is, if it is Maxwell that was the one who coached Virginia Giuffre from Mar-a-Lago and then trafficked her, then why is she getting so much special treatment? I mean, that is the part where the Republicans don't look good at all. I mean, what is going on with Elaine Maxwell, a convicted sex offender, trying to get a pardon, getting Todd Blanche to give her a softball interview, and then she immediately gets preferential treatment. Look, we've been over the fact that she's at basically a special prison in Bryan, Texas, where normally someone of her status wouldn't be allowed to go to because it's too nice, it's too low security. But in addition to that, new reports are saying that top officials at Camp Bryan are sick of being Maxwell's federal law enforcement staff working at Camp have been engaged by Maxwell hand and foot, including, by the way, reportedly she's been given a puppy as part of the preferential treatment she's been receiving. Overwhelmingly, Maxwell has been getting a super nice ride in all of this. This, of course, makes us all wonder, once again, what do they have on why treat her like this if she doesn't have something compromising in all of it? It just kind of begs some questions you probably don't want to ask. Also very suspicious is the fact that immediately after this report came out, Trump personally called Rev. Lauren Boebert, urging her to withdraw support for releasing the Epstein files. Bonnie, Blanche, and Patel were going to meet today about the Epstein files. This, of course, is furthering the idea the White House has no interest in the story. I think Trump tweeted multiple times today about the Epstein hoax. Again, we've heard that a million times. And the question is, why are you acting so suspicious if you have nothing to hide, right? Leave it to the side, which Epstein says, why are you lying? Why are you so worried about all this stuff coming out? By the way, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was actually asked about the White House pressuring people to get them not to sign to release the Epstein files, and her response was pretty insane.
Why are White House officials meeting with Representative Goldberg in an effort to not get her to not sign this petition to release the funds? Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to
It shows transparency trying to go and block files being released on the world most prolific. But the fact we know that, that's the transparent part. It's just insane. I mean, that's the kind of spin we've expected with this story all along. That's been part of it. It's so frustrating. Not all. So look, I want to get back to the story because there's so many people involved here. We're just going to go through one by one. I mean, look, it's a lot more than just Trump. Like, one person, they've got kind of a weird stray in all of this. The fact that Epstein is talking about Hillary Giuliani and Vince being Vince Foster of White House Counsel. Remember about Clinton and Vince having some kind of affair, and then later Vince is found dead. And this is where we see Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff's kind of symbiotic relationship. Michael Wolff is a journalist who has been prolific in all of this. Well, I struggle to call him a journalist actually, but we'll find he's more like a PR guy for Epstein. But he was actually asking Epstein and using Epstein for a lot of access to information. Because Michael Wolff actually told Jeffrey Epstein, hey,
all done. There's no more, Jadier.
I should ask. He's talking about Trump. Epstein replied, do you want to be provocative? Michael Wolff says, job is to get the hard ones in without being ejected from the room. What's the one that pierces through? Jeffrey Epstein basically says, hey, you can do this softball. That's a Hillary problem. He was a smile, and you can have a relationship with the Electricians Union and Mar-a-Lago, and out you go. Obviously, hinting to the idea that he's going to get kicked out if he asks about more sensitive subjects. Michael Wolff asks about, hey, what's up with Foster? And he describes what that's all about. And this brings us to Michael Wolff, who I want to spend a little bit of time here on. Although some of you may not know as much about him, you may be less interested in him. I think he's one of sort of the worst looking people in all of this. Actually, after reading these emails, he may be the most disgusting person that comes out of it, and that's saying a lot given what's in here. But I wanted to show you this because actually the Democrats initially released was this idea was that Michael Wolff and Epstein were basically planning how to respond to Epstein being brought up in the context of Trump. Michael Wolff says, I hear CNN is planning to ask Trump about his relationship with you, either on air or with Trump afterwards. Epstein says, if we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? That'd be interesting because it's like, wait, were they in touch with Trump at this time? Because Trump denied being in contact with Epstein basically since the early 2000s. But anyway, he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, and that gives you valuable PR political currency. You can hang in a way that generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like a win, you can save them generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, let's say Jeffrey Epstein died as Don Rock, you don't victim of political correctness with the Allen and the Trump regime. Now, if it doesn't sound like PR, it might be something like blackmail. It's like kind of a little bit of both. Michael Wolff is basically conspiring to generate a debt for Jeffrey Epstein from Trump, who is about to become the most powerful person on the planet. So that's really bizarre because Michael Wolff has positioned himself as sort of this truth teller about Jeffrey Epstein, and he's got all these tapes that he's going to release showing how close Trump and Epstein were. But it's like, behind the scenes, he was actually kind of running PR for Epstein, like, which is sort of the...
Excuse me.
Most restaurants brush off Gordon's advice, only to pay the rents and lose their business. But every now and then, someone listens and follows exactly what he asked them to do. These are the incredible transformations of 7 restaurants that actually listen to Gordon Ramsay, starting with Mama Maria's in Brooklyn, New York, a spot with a truly touching backstory. John, the owner, had inherited the restaurant after going through a tough tragedy, but things just weren't working out for him.
His father passed away, his mom passed away, he was the only one in charge of everything, and as the years passed, it started to go down.
And at the start of the episode, he pointed out what he believes
have that kind of volume of sales laws that we once had, and I can't figure out the reason why it dropped off. Where's the people?
The majority of the staff didn't agree with him.
John, as the owner, is supposed to be in charge of this whole place, including the kitchen. But he's usually up front making pizzas covered in flour.
The pizzeria and a restaurant are two different animals. That's like the accountant thought it'd be cool to open a wine bar. Stop paying attention over here for a minute. Get in the kitchen. Really look at what's going on. John is an extremely stubborn owner. John is holding on to the past and to the way things were done when his parents ran the business.
When Gordon showed up at the restaurant, he quickly discovered that there were even bigger problems that John and his staff hadn't noticed.
Jeez. What's that?
It's butter.
This goes butter.
Yeah, just to this.
And that's a mold on there. You show that? So you got no idea this, but presenting those moldy bits of shit and it's stuck with butter? Because it's a display, you've got the right to make them in mold and serve customers a display that's full of mold.
This resulted in a situation so bad that it created a real emergency.
Yeah, but I think
I heard that's sick.
it's vegetarian? No. What did he have?
Lobster tail. And the lobster tasted funny. And next thing I knew, it was sick.
Gordon stepped away from the kitchen to check out the emergency, and what he found was shocking.
Fishy.
I can smell the ammonia.
Yeah, you smell that?
Hey. I just said hey.
Things just kept getting worse, and right in the middle of filming, they had to call for medical help and put everything else on hold. The situation was so serious that Gordon had to take this drastic step. Gordon pulled John aside for a real heart-to-heart, and in what was almost a tearful moment, John didn't just listen. He opened up and shared his true feelings.
So it's not just bad food, Charles. It's bad practices that they just so detached from the business. You're right. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just think I don't need to watch.
Although John was aware that there was a problem, he was ready to do whatever it took to keep the restaurant open because it meant so much to his family.
Any businessman knows it, and I'm sure it's all but having all the comments and the history. It's like mom and dad losing ones like losing parents.
He was on the verge of giving up if things didn't start to go right.
I don't want to be here. I don't want to. Not that I don't want to be here. I want to be in this position alone.
But Gordon wasn't about to let that happen, so he gave him this advice.
Is that dear?
She's just running scared. I don't want to be scared. I want to fight my life. Yeah, you will.
To help Mama Maria's get back on its feet, Gordon carried out a remodel.
Grimy, and it had no lights. We've got stunning turquoise walls that gives that nice vibrant pop.
Honored the family legacy picture, turned it around completely.